One simple question. What's on your heart and mind right here, right now, in this moment? We explore the depths and breadths of our humanity through that one simple question over the course of 30 to 45 minutes. I hope that you'll join us. I hope you'll enjoy the exploration. And this tune was created for me personally by the incredible Peter Griffiths, one half of the amazing Mind Takeaway. Do let us know what you think. Let us know what you take away. And of course, we always welcome challenges too. Hello, hello, hello. Oh my goodness.
Hi.
Look who's on the other side of my screen today. Hello, Vivian. How are you?
I am doing well. It seems like we have never spoken before, and yet within 1 week, I'm talking to you like 3 or 4 times already.
I'll ask you, is that a good thing or bad thing, or not really bothered?
No, it's a positive thing. No, it's
Oh,
a
that's good.
positive thing. It's a positive thing. Yes, yes.
Well, welcome to the Right Here, Right Now live show. As the introduction said,
Mm-hmm.
we explore one question today because we like to be a bit intuitive. And people will find out more about you as we go, for sure. But
Mm-hmm.
Vivian,
Mm-hmm.
right here, right
Yeah.
now, in this moment, what's on your heart and mind?
I am trying not to forget, the things that I need to do for AmplifyDEI, making sure that the different speakers are catered, making sure that everybody's represented, and wearing like 15 hats at the same time, but also working on the training material. So there is a lot happening right here, right now, but still pumped to have this conversation with you.
So, all of these things going on,
Mm-hmm.
your next Amplify DEI is coming. What else is underneath all of that? Because I'm really intrigued to know how you're feeling. What's
Mm-hmm.
the energy like for Vivian at the moment with all of this stuff going on? Give us a little bit of a lowdown as to where you're at.
Yeah, my energy today is better. Yesterday was a little bit challenging, but it depends also on the way I wake up, and sometimes it has to do with my family members at home, like my son who wakes up sometimes a little bit too early. But let's say today is a happy day. I am fully rested, fully charged, and been helping out some clients in the morning. And now I'm doing some activities for Amplify DEI where I am having one-on-one conversations with so many inspiring people. And last week I had yours as well. And the excitement for this year's summit, it's beyond. It's beyond.
That's so cool. Now, we just sort of connected very briefly before we went live today, Vivian, and
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a really nice linkage to what you shared as to where you are right now in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to bring something in, if I may, which was this beautiful sort of alignment and congruence of all of these different parts of Vivian, sort of
Mm-hmm.
historically and now. And I
Yeah.
think that's a really powerful link to DEI, which is actually there's this intersectional whole human being of Vivian who is finance person, IT person,
Yeah.
mum, woman of color. Like, you're just this brilliant real life in this moment example of the work that you want to share in
Mm-hmm.
September. And I just
True,
wanted to, do
true.
you want to build on that, challenge on that? Maybe you can riff on that for a
I
moment.
mean, I started my career in finance, so of course I have to use the lessons I learned from Excel to use that for Amplify DEI. So people are, let's say that people come to me when it comes to Amplify DEI saying how organized and how structured I am. Yes, I am. I try to be as structured, but you shouldn't see what's beyond that side, because beyond that side there is a maze full of chaos, full of things that the way that I create things. So I am Vivian, the financial girl, where I'm using Excel to cumulate or to concatenate, as the formula goes, to concatenate all the different talents, but all the different speakers as well. I'm the IT girl, the nerd. As you can see, the robot, it really represents me because of my IT knowledge and because of my way of bungee jumping in the IT sometimes. I feel like I have a way to support all the speakers as well. And the Vivian now, a mom who is basically is going through a rebirth of herself because of her son. So let's say that the Vivian before Orlando, I'm still energetic, still, very outgoing, but the people from work knew me as a very introverted Vivian, and I wasn't this outgoing as you see me now. I'm still not this outgoing because I am an introvert. That's my secret. I am an introvert who has her button activated as ambi at the moment. But when I go back, when you don't hear me, when you don't see me, that's when the introvert Vivian comes to place.
So cool. I'm really interested about this rebirth piece because I think, and sorry if you hear Winnie again, she's behind
No,
me.
I'm not hearing anything.
Oh, result. I clicked
Yeah.
mute quick enough. I'm really interested in this rebirth term in the moment because I feel like I'm on a similar sort of journey from sort of 5 years ago of this, my rebirth from the innocent, accidental buy-in to the belief of the system of you will be okay when you've got the salary, the house, the recognition, the job title, all of these sort of stories that I was taught as a kid that you will be okay when. And like my rebirth is just like, oh, actually, I'm good enough already. And I can make a better impact with human beings if I come from a place of connection and worth and not from, if I dominate you, Vivian, and get where I need to go, then I'll feel okay after I've dominated you. It's like, no. And that's been my journey, and I'm still on that journey. I'm just wondering a bit more about your rebirth, because I think it's a really interesting.
My rebirth, I do have to say that now I'm a freelancer or a business owner. So many, opportunities, but also doors are opening for me. So many options that I did not see when I was working as an employee, where I thought, just doing my job and hopefully somebody can see me or notice me, not realizing that I have the control. I was supposed to sit in front of the bus instead of being a visitor, in the bus. So ever since that, I became a mom. I mean, even before Orlando came out, I was during my pregnancy, I really felt empowered and also really got connected with my true self. Where do I want to be? You have these moments where you want to reflect, the moment that you turn 20, the moment that you turn 25 or 30. For me, it happened again when I was 33. That's the time that I became pregnant with Orlando. And I knew that I have to, in a way, clean up my act. Not that I was, a rebel, but for me, it was also a defining moment to think about, how do I want to be? How do I want my son to be? But also, in what world do I want my son to be, to live, right? And is this the time to improve myself? Is this the time? Have I lived the life that I wanted to live? And I came to the decision, no, because I was working in a toxic environment. So that's one. And I wanted, if it was up to me, I want my son to have the best of the best. And to have that, I need to create something to do that. By the way, for the people that assume that I'm single, I'm not. My partner chooses to be left out of this equation. He likes it, and he highlights the fact that he supports me in this journey, but he supports me from the background. So I'm not single. For the people that are hitting me up or thinking that I'm only with Orlando, no, I have a partner. Orlando has a dad. Just sharing that as a FYI.
I love, and something, there's a great lesson in that as well. I think particularly where we are again as society, within the workplace, it doesn't have to be the white male person that comes up with strategy, that has to have decision-making power. And actually, I'm learning from my good friend Sam Sapaya in the Philippines, where she said, actually, the future is about centering more feminine energy and more feminine, particularly global South, particularly people of color. We need that diversity at the helm and not just bolted on to try and make things look better. And why is that? Because it's better for all of us. This isn't it's not just a humanitarian thing. It's actually really good for business as well.
It is good for business as well, but also you have to realize that within 5 to 10 years, the demographics within Europe and in the US are changing, where you have a lot of mixed races or biracial kids as well, and they are really looking into what's going on in the world, what our business is doing, but also they are living their experiences through their family. And if they get to hear that a company was mistreating a family member or mistreating somebody else because of this, they connect it with your brand. And it's not about what you say, about what you do, it's about how you make others feel. Like the quote from Maya Angelou is saying, you have to realize how you treat people if you are creating an environment of exclusion or if you are creating an environment of inclusion.
Right, so you've got the juices flowing now, as Vivian. So there's something I've been not wrestling with. I'm really excited because part of my challenge, part of my personal rebirth the last few years has been getting used to my body. Like my body says something to me, that feeling, that anger, that happiness, like it's a signal of something going on, and not to suppress it. Because I was bullied as a kid, as you know, so I suppressed all that frustration and upset for 20 odd years. And I think one of the number one challenges as to why DEI doesn't embed as quickly or as effectively as it could do, because there's a lot of wounded children leading organizations globally. And I think that's the number one challenge. But it's a hypothesis, and I don't know what your thoughts are or around that.
Well, I believe in that every company should have a therapist. I mean, now the DEI professionals are, in a way, some kind of therapist, because the fact that they are dealing with fires, not every fire is an easy fire to put out, which hence Acquah, my last name, right? It's not, I would rather prevent fires from happening, because there are so much things that you can do to prevent just the simple fires from happening.
So tell us a little bit about that. What are some of the simple, when you're working with clients or, I'm just wondering, like, if someone's watching us now, maybe they are a dominant, they're a white male leading a big global organization. They know there's a better way, but maybe they're just like so scared of, like, what if I say the wrong thing, or who do I go to if I want to get support on that journey? What's your sort of invitation to them?
I would say to the executive leader or to the manager at the moment right now, you have to think that you don't have to work alone on this journey. So hire a DEI coach or hire a DEI consultant. And to add on to that extra challenge, I want you to hire a person that doesn't look like you, but can tell you, listen to you, but also can tell you by looking in the mirror together. So I'm not only turning the mirror towards you, I am standing next to you, where I'm sharing my reflections as in what you're seeing, and you are sharing your reflections towards what I am sharing, right? We need to listen to each other. It's not about me finger pointing to what you're doing wrong. I will add in a little bit of salt or a little bit of spicy to share what I'm seeing, but I want you to level up or to amplify diversity, equity, and inclusion, and really convert your intentions towards action. Because at the moment right now, there is a lot of fluff, and I feel like fluff is made in cartoons, not in the real life example. So there is a lot of fluff at the moment right now.
I love that invitation, Vivian, as well. It's something I'm really passionate about, because you're almost speaking to this. It's what I call, one of the things I want to help more people with is being an interpersonal guide. And a thinking partner to someone that's literally at the side of these senior leaders.
Exactly.
Not because anyone needs, this is not about judgment. This is a really important point. I've done the shame journey of the last, following the tragic murder of George Floyd. I think many of us have, that look like me. And it's like coming out the other side of that and going, oh my God, this is a real thing. These, there are these systems in place. There are these workplace practices that are prohibitive to certain subsects of humanity progressing. How do we unpick that together? And we can only do it in collaboration. It can't be only Vivian or only Gary. Like, it really is a group collective effort, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's why I amplify DEI. I cannot do this summit alone by thinking that I'm the only expert or I'm the only person that can talk about DEI. I am not an LGBTQ expert. I'm not an expert when it comes to neurodiversity. I'm not an expert when it comes to different genders, right? But I do know people, and I know people that know people, and I do know people that know a lot of things together. So collectively, we can amplify DEI from within. And that's why I'm creating this ripple effect, all because of one child.
One child. So and how cool is that? Like, So not only is, like saying, the rebirth for you giving birth to this amazing young man, Orlando, but the fuel it's giving, do you feel that you're growing, like your view of the world, your understanding of the world is increasing as well because of this rebirth? I would imagine it is.
Yeah, it is. It's opened my eyes in a big way, and I recently tried to disclose to Orlando what's happening, why I'm creating Amplify DEI, and try to explain that to a 7-year-old. But I told him that because of his question, he asked me that one question regarding George Floyd, I created Amplify DEI, and he felt honored. He felt special, and he was just like, "Wow, I did not realize that you did that for me." He still doesn't know the impact that he has created,
Wow.
but he knows about Amplify DEI and about the people that are connected to Amplify DEI, but he still doesn't understand the magnitude of what's happening, all because of him.
I think at this point it's a good opportunity for you to pop up your image. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, so this is Orlando when he was 3. I am choosing to not show his. I mean, the most people that watch Humanize the Workplace have seen him, but out of his privacy, I want to show a younger picture of him because, I don't want him to be, bombarded in the open space or public space to say that you're Orlando, and he's just like not happy.
How beautiful!
Yeah.
How beautiful! But isn't it amazing though when we think like this young man and the question? Maybe you can share for anyone that's watching now that may not have heard this story or may watch this back. What was that question that Orlando asked you after the tragic murder of George Floyd?
Yeah. So in the Netherlands, I kept playing the summary of George Floyd over and over again. And one time I was too late with switching channels to another channel. So Orlando saw that. And imagine a 6-year-old seeing that with questions in his eyes. My partner is white, he's Dutch. And so Orlando is biracial. And we decided then and there to explain it to him, my partner first. And then the day after, I shared my perspective as well, because it's important for him to listen to the black and white story in this case. And I made it very simple and told him that George Floyd died because of the color of his skin. And he shared with me the following, that, "Is anybody going to hurt you, Mom?" And in that moment, that second, it felt like somebody ran a truck over me, or it felt like I was, falling into quicksand. And it was just like this maze that I'm in, like, what's happening here? What's happening here? So for me, it took me a while to recover from that, because having that question being asked by your child, it's paralyzing. But a few days later, I felt inspired again. Here I'm seeing Alexis Ohanian making an effort, making a change, all because of he wanted his daughter to be proud of him, but also he wanted to really make a real, authentic diversity initiative. And I'm saying that because a lot has happened since last year, and I'm still seeing too many performative diversity initiative. And with performative diversity initiative, I mean that you are just scratching the surface, fooling others because you want to tick the box and say we are inclusive.
So cool. I just want to come, because I remember when you put out the first summit, and so for people that, Alexis Ohanian is his partner.
Partner of Serena Williams, but he's also the co-founder. I would rather know him for the co-founder instead of the partner of Serena Williams.
Do you know something though? But they're both. I just think that what I love though is that he gets mentioned as like secondary to Serena though, and secondary to being co-founder of Reddit. A bit like your partner is happy being behind you doing your work. That's why I wanted to highlight that. Is that it's a really, I love that there is this awareness and this sort of almost new generation of, okay, we don't need, just because we're white and male, we don't need to be at the front. And in fact, if we're going to progress DEI, we need to take a back seat and be at the side of and elevating the voices that know what the future looks like.
True. No, I'm so happy that he's leading the way, but also the fact that he's showing other leaders, managers, the way that we have to make room, we have to make space, and also realizing that you are not connecting with a new audience that could be a potential audience to you. If you want to stick your head in the sand and pretend that DEI isn't there or diversity isn't necessary because we have operated this way all the time, I would say within 5 years, within 5 to 10 years, I want to have that conversation with you again and see how right you are.
This is really pertinent for me because not everybody knows that I work within the chemical industry, within big energy and pharmaceuticals, and these are quite traditional industries that they've not needed really, like I didn't need, to be honest, until last May. I wasn't as conscious. I think I've been getting more conscious because of my rebirth, but I definitely wasn't as conscious about the depths of challenge around the DEI space, Vivian, until last March. But when I look at this industry that I'm part of, there's such a huge opportunity for the industry of which I'm part to truly drive this agenda. Why? Because chemicals go into everything behind you, everything around me.
Yeah.
You can't get away from it. So it's like, it's not only the right thing to do and great to bring through the next generation of talent through DEI, but we can actually turn around the planetary challenges we have if we have more diversity at the top of these organizations.
True.
So that's a challenge I'm putting in for myself that I continue to drive within my own organization and the industry at large is, come on, chemicals industry, pharmaceuticals, big energy, renewables, like, please look at the planetary element, but also look at diversity, equity, inclusion, because by having the diversity in the boardroom and across your business, you will be able to come to better, more sustainable solutions quicker.
Yeah.
And I know
you'll tap in also to a new industry, new revenue, new clients, a new way to brand your brand or your logo or your company as an inclusive company, right? Because that's also one of the things that is now being asked by so many people that are going to a company. What's your diversity report? Do you have any transparency in it? What are your initiatives? What are you doing? What did you do last year? What are you doing before that? And what are your expectations in the upcoming 5 years? I'm just giving this away for those who are, looking for a new job and value diversity, equity, and inclusion, just to add this on your roster if you are having an interview.
Great point. And hello, welcome, Elise. Thank you very much for joining us. Great to see you. That's such a powerful point. And of course, again, diversity, equity, inclusion. I spoke about this last year on your summit. Is it has to be central. It can't be a bolt-on anymore. It can't be a nice to have in hate. And I'm not getting into debate about where does it sit. Should it be in HR? Like, I don't care. What I care about is we should be designing around it.
Yeah.
At the center, alongside sustainability, I think, and recruitment, and not as a bolt-on. What do you think?
And give the funding for that as well, because it's good that you have a vacancy open for a diversity officer, but if you only have a vacancy open for this person to fix or save the challenges that your company is facing without the budget, without the funding, it will be challenging for that. So invest in your people, invest in your company, but also invest in keeping this momentum alive. So don't invest in the one-off training, but invest in continuous training.
Love it.
So what am I going to talk about now? It's very challenging to have this conversation, but yes, what can I share about? Gary, you know that I don't do this alone, right? You're muted.
You didn't hear all of that kerfuffle, thankfully.
No.
Okay. So this is the beauty of live shows, right?
Exactly.
Delivery, dog going crazy.
Yeah.
Wife on a conference call. Welcome to post-pandemic world. Sorry to leave you for a second.
I was just saying I can't do live streams alone. I don't.
Thank you. I was honestly dreading that moment. I could, when you can see the van coming past, and you're like, "Oh no, I know it's
It's
coming."
part of life. It's part of life, right? A few years ago we were laughing away with this BBC anchor guy, with the kids behind them, and now it's a new normal now.
And isn't that beautiful thing as well? I think around diversity and inclusion now, though, is also, actually, I remember pre-pandemic, Vivian,
Yeah.
I was okay because I was a sales guy on the road traveling. I could be at home working from home and get my delivery made without
Exactly.
losing holiday. My colleagues in the office that were in finance weren't allowed to do that because they had to be in the office. Like, that mindset has been shattered, absolutely shattered.
I hope that it stays that way, and I hope that, because companies were tiptoeing around, okay, let's go back to work, as in, what were we doing all this time? Were we, eating all day, all in 24/7, not working? We were working, people were working. The only difference is that people were working from home. But now that, in the Netherlands, there was some invitation done by companies saying that the offices are open, and now 2 weeks later, because of the fact that we are red because of the vaccination and the corona virus, etc., we are red, and now they are saying stay home, work from home. And I'm just like, I already have written off 2021 as in working from home thing.
And I think again, I always love this. I try now to look really at, again, my diversity and equity inclusion is very early stage in terms of my own journey and, joining all of these different threads together, Vivian. But I think my invitation to people that may be new to this journey is ask way more questions.
Yeah.
Ask way, way more questions. There's no silly questions as long as it comes from a place of curiosity and a genuine desire to learn. I don't know if you can challenge or build on that, or
also what I wanted to build on that is be humble. Right? If a person does not want to educate you, educate yourself. There are so many podcast platforms. You can listen to Gary, watch his channel, or watch Tony, or watch my channel as well. Let's Humanize the Workplace, where you can level up in your journey as well. But do the self-education yourself, because it's not upon your coworker to educate you or for them to share their challenges. I mean, I don't share all of my personal challenges because it's traumatizing. What I do share is share the things from a mother's perspective, share the things by using my mother's lens, because it's much safer for me to share it. And it's also a way for people to learn how my child is seeing this or how it's being perceived from that perspective.
Lovely. As we start to wrap up, I can't believe, we always...
I know. Time flies.
28 minutes. I just love time with you, Vivian. Tell people how, in addition to the summit, how else can people work with you? What are the other sort of offerings that you have for anyone that might be curious to maybe work with Vivian?
Yeah, so the offers that I have, audits, workshop, training. What I can do is help you out with your DEI journey, road mapping. I am now at the moment working on an ERG planning for a few companies right now, in between AmplifyDEI, and also working on providing different training materials for people for the companies as well. And I have a non-BS approach. I do have to warn the people that I do add food, I add fun, but on top of it, it's also serious. I need to have, we need to have a light way to digest all the seriousness, and that's what I bring to the table as well. And if I'm not the person who is going to, who's not a good fit for your company, I know a lot of people that are. So if you are looking for somebody who's neurodiverse, if you are looking for somebody from the LGBT community, or you want to diversify your pool of talents, I'm a person that will definitely lift somebody up as well, because that's the person I am. I cannot do Amplify DEI without all the amazing experts on Amplify DEI.
So now, viewer, if you're watching this live or watching this back, you can see why I love Vivian so much. But you are, when you think about the term "be the change," you are being the change on the back of that wonderful boy of yours question. And not only are you being the change in that way, you are also saying, hey, I can't do this on my own. Like vulnerability, self-awareness, humility, they are the skills of the future. I
It's
really, really believe
important.
that.
It's very important to have these skills, because otherwise, how can you activate inclusion? How can you bring in belonging into the table?
Woo! Oh, Kenneth. I love Kenneth. Savor the flavor of the awesomeness.
Thank you, Kenneth.
We love Kenneth. He's so cool. And most importantly,
Yes,
love
thank
the
you.
non-bullshit approach. No ifs, buts about it. Thank you,
Yes.
Kenneth, for joining us today. Wow. Vivian, tell us, come on, what dates is the summit running? God, we didn't even say that bit.
Yes, the 27th till the 29th of September. So I already know that even though the summit may seem long before it's going to start, 2 months already, but the hype around this summit, if you look at my LinkedIn profile, you will see in my featured section, you will see the second post, you will see why I'm hyped. Why I'm hyped about intersectionality, why I'm hyped about diversity in general, why I'm hyped about the LGBT community, why I'm hyped about people who have special abilities that are on there, why I'm just hyped about intersectionality in general. And this year's summit, it's even better than last year. It's going to be epic. And the fact that a 7-year-old is the reason why I'm doing this and why people are connecting on this. It's a summit with heart, full of hard working, but with a lot of heart as well. And that's why I am amazed and inspired, and I am full in awe. And there's so much more that I would like to share, but know that this is a summit led by heart with heart.
That's amazing. But you've got a lot more you want to say. I'm now going, what else can I squeeze in another 2 minutes? Anything else you want to say before we go?
Regarding the summit, yes, join in, sign up, www.amplifydei.com. And what else can I say? There are going to be some giveaways, so please watch for some episodes so that we can give away some tickets. I don't know what to say anymore, Gary.
Amazing. Well, everyone,
we are looking for sponsors. If your company is looking for a way to connect their brand with AmplifyDEI, and yes, I will be vetting the company, of course, but if you want to level up the education within your company as well, contact me or connect with me and ask about sponsorships and find out how you can connect, level up AmplifyDEI within your company as well.
That's amazing. Vivian, appreciate your friendship, appreciate your leadership, and just appreciate your humanity. Like,
thank you.
No, but really, you blend impact and fun, and that's a pretty unique combination to bring to the world.
Yeah. So I have to. The world is boring already.
Yeah. On that note, have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching this live or you're watching it back, and if you want to work with me, here comes a little video. Vivian, feel free to jump off, or you can watch it, up to you. But if you want to work with me, I'd love to support you if you're on your journey towards feeling as well as thinking. So Vivian, till next time.
Till next time. Bye.
Much love, my friend. And everybody, take care. Are you someone that leads other human beings and knows in their body that there is a better, more healthy way to organize ourselves in the workplace, but we just don't find the time or just don't find the capacity to be able to reimagine what that could look and feel like? Or maybe you personally have suppressed feeling within the workplace. I did it for many, many years, based on childhood trauma. We don't always realize the power of the stories that we tell ourselves in our mind. And sometimes having third-party support to allow ourselves to think for ourselves, as ourselves, without any interruption, can be the key to unlocking so much potential, both within ourselves, but also in how we lead others. So I'm here, Gary Turner, as someone to offer that space to you as a thinking partner, on demand or over a fixed number of sessions. And should that be of interest to you, please do check out my Calendly link, and I'd love to have an exploratory conversation with you to see if we're a good fit. Until then, I hope you enjoy these insights from my previous podcast engagements.